Happy Friday, April the 19th, everyone. Hunter here again at Weather on the Go, and in today's weather forecast, we are looking at some heavy rain across the south this weekend with multiple inches expected, and widespread frost and freeze is expected this weekend as a strong cold front moves across the country, bringing colder temperatures for late April. And we're also watching next week for significant severe weather potential already in the long-range guidance. We'll be moving into those details later on in today's weather forecast. If you are new here to Weather on the Go and you are not a subscriber, make sure if you do like detailed, accurate weather forecasts that you press the subscribe button down below so you are covered with weather for your area all the way through this year. Also be sure to press the like button down below. It helps out more than you know. And I did want to mention, you guys can follow me on Twitter or X at hweather420. The link will be in the description below the video. For more additional weather forecast information, you can follow me there as well. Now, going back to yesterday, a very busy day it was for severe weather across the mid-Mississippi Valley. Now, officially so far, only one tornado reported across portions of southwestern Illinois. However, I do expect this tornado count to increase as a strong MCS, a mesoscale convective system, moved from Missouri into downstate Illinois and Indiana and even northern Kentucky from yesterday afternoon into yesterday evening, producing a lot of hail, a lot of wind, and again, like I said, tornadoes. So definitely keeping an eye on that tornado count. Now going here through today, that cold front that did bring that severe weather is now pushing into the east and southeast, and this is actually going to be bringing some low end potential for severe weather today on your Friday, April the 19th. A marginal risk. This is a level 1 out of 5 on the scale here across portions of the Carolinas, north and central Georgia, getting into northern and central Alabama, eastern Tennessee, and western portions of Virginia today. And looking at the hazards, we're looking at a 5% chance of some quarter-size hail here across those areas I just mentioned. Also, those same areas, we're seeing the potential for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts as well. And notice the tornado outlook here is basically extinct. We really don't have a tornado threat across the southeast. It's mainly for hail and wind, so we'll keep an eye on that. Looking at precipitation through the day, notice where the colder air is, folks. Up here to the north, we're seeing snow flurries and snow showers. Yes, it's the 19th of April, and we are seeing that across portions of North Dakota, Minnesota, and northern Wisconsin, and over here to the UP of Michigan. That's how cold our air is behind that front. But ahead of it, we got some warm, moist, and unstable air, some scattered showers and storms starting to fire up from the mid-Atlantic down into the southeast here through the day. That will continue into tonight, but note the coverage will be isolated to widely scattered, so not everybody will see thunderstorms and not everybody will see severe weather today across the southeast, but we definitely will be keeping an eye on any watches and warnings that do come out for today. And then as we go into the weekend, you can see precipitable water values will be climbing here along that front as it kind of stalls out across the Gulf Coast states and the southern plains portions here of Texas into Arkansas, Louisiana, into the Dixie Alley region here. Those precipitable water values up over an inch, so definitely seeing a lot of that to be wrung out this weekend, and that will be wrung out in the form of precipitation and rain. So you can see across portions of the Red River Valley down here into the southern plains and then nosing its way into Dixie Alley here. We have that cold front producing some heavier showers and storms on Saturday tomorrow, and you can see that here timing it out. Saturday morning, the DFW Metroplex starting to see some showers and some thunderstorms arriving there. Wichita Falls back there into the Oklahoma City area. That could stretch over towards Shreveport for your Saturday morning. Going into the afternoon, a very soggy day it will be across the DFW Metroplex. Over here toward Texarkana, we'll start to see rain Saturday afternoon there in Little Rock, perhaps as far north as Memphis, and then over here toward Jackson, Mississippi, again for Saturday afternoon. Going into Saturday evening, a lot of rain continuing here, starting to exit the DFW Metroplex, moving towards Shreveport here, Jackson, Mississippi, down here towards Montgomery, Birmingham, and Tuscaloosa, and then Macon, Georgia. We're going to start to see showers and storms for your Saturday evening time frame. Then going into Sunday, that cold front still very slow moving, but it's moving a little bit further down to the south and east, so Dixie Alley into the southeast coast, we'll start to see more showers and storms there on Sunday. Looking here at Sunday morning, got any church services to attend there? It might be needing an umbrella across the Atlanta area, back there into Charlotte, into Columbia, South Carolina, stretching back there toward Huntsville, Alabama as well. Definitely keeping an eye on that for Sunday morning. Could be a wet go of it to start your day. Going into Sunday afternoon, a lot of that rain moves into the Carolinas there in southern Virginia, so that's where the wet weather will be by Sunday afternoon. And then finally by Sunday evening, a lot of the precipitation and rainfall will be moving off the southeast coast, but I can't rule out from Wilmington all the way down towards Savannah, Georgia, a shower or a thunderstorm even going into your Sunday evening time frame. Overall, this system will have a lot of moisture to work with. We showed you the precipitable water values. A lot of heavy rainfall can be expected across portions of the Red River Valley, the Southern Plains, eastward through Dixie Alley and the southeast coast. This does include portions of the Carolinas here. Widespread rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches across the southeast, and kind of zooming it in here across portions of Texas, like the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Texarkana, Shreveport, stretching over toward Jackson, Mississippi. That's the corridor of which we could see over 2 inches of rainfall as we go between Saturday and through Sunday night this weekend, and this could actually lead to some flash flooding across north central and east central Texas, southern Arkansas, northern portions of Louisiana, into west central Mississippi. That's that slight risk for flash flooding Saturday the 20th into Sunday the 21st. So make sure, again, turn around, don't drown, never drive on flooded roadways. Now, as we go through the weekend, that same front will be ushering in some colder air from Canada down south into the lower 48 here across the United States. Note there is a lot of below normal temperature anomalies east of the Rockies here. So a lot of us will be feeling that chill this weekend. And let's look at these low temperatures. So tomorrow morning, you're waking up on Saturday, sub-freezing temperatures up here across the upper Midwest, the high plains moving back into the Rockies here. Temperatures will be back into the 20s and low 30s, even some 40s though for lows here across portions of the Central Plains, stretching over to the Ohio Valley and the Northeast for Saturday morning. Afternoon highs, folks, for the 20th of April, well below normal. We're only seeing highs arriving into the 40s and 50s across the middle of the country. That 80-degree line will be down near the Gulf Coast where that cold front hasn't cleared quite yet. And then going into Sunday morning, another sub-freezing morning here across portions of the upper Midwest, the high plains, and again into the Rockies. And this could spell out another risk for frost and freeze conditions Sunday morning. And then Sunday afternoon, we start to warm up a tad bit more, a handful of degrees warmer than Saturday, into the 50s, but still a chilly day again for late April standards across much of the eastern two-thirds of the country. And let's look at the frost and freeze forecast here that I put together through Sunday, April the 21st. If you are in the light blue here, you do have a possible chance of that here. I really do think it's pretty much dwindling that far south, but we still keep an eye on it. In the middle of the blue here into the medium blue, you can see that's a likely chance of some frost and freeze from Kansas City and Omaha, stretching towards Chicago there into St. Louis, over here into Indianapolis and Detroit, and then stretching over to Pittsburgh, also New York City, and then up here towards Boston. We could have that as well. Darker blue, that is very likely chance of frost and freeze if you live in Bismarck, getting down into the Twin Cities region, Minneapolis, St. Paul, Milwaukee, over here and towards portions of northern lower Michigan, Buffalo, New York, and Watertown, New York. Those areas have a very likely chance of seeing widespread frost and hard freeze conditions going through Sunday, April 21st. Now going into next week, early next week, the pattern starts to break down, starts to shift, and we have a ridge of high pressure coming back, at least for the southwestern U.S., going into the early part of next week. Still lingering effects of that trough here across the east will keep us cooler to start the week on Monday, so another chilly morning there as we go into that time frame. But by the middle of next week, notice the ridge begins to organize and strengthen a little bit more across the heart of the country here into the Rockies, but also the Great Plains, and this is actually going to increase our temperatures. So early next week, still the lingering effects of those below normal temperatures out east, but look at the ridge out west, folks, above normal temperatures across the Pacific Southwest up there into the northern plains by early next week. And then as we go into the middle of next week, say that Wednesday the 23rd time frame, we're looking at more of those above normal temperatures. But even if you look out east, still slightly below normal, but a lot of us will be trending back closer to normal as we get towards the middle of next week with our temperatures. Now let's look precipitation, because to start the week, it's going to be very quiet there on Monday. Not a lot of precipitation to go around there to start the work week. So a very dry Monday for most of us outside of a sprinkle or a shower, especially there in the northern plains or down here into Florida. Otherwise, very quiet. Tuesday, a little bit of a disturbance moving across the Great Lakes could bring us a cold front and a quick round of showers and a thunderstorm there Tuesday from, say, Milwaukee and Madison, Wisconsin, back there toward Des Moines. Even the Chicagoland area, will be keeping an eye on that. Looking at instability Tuesday, there's essentially none to work with for thunderstorms, so severe weather is not going to be an issue on Tuesday. But going into Wednesday, that system will quickly move off to the east there into southeastern Canada and the northeast. Again, bringing a quick round of rain from Buffalo, New York, Albany, New York, back there through the Harrisburg region, Pittsburgh, and Charleston, West Virginia. Those will not be severe on Wednesday. Pretty quiet across the middle and western two-thirds of the country there on Wednesday. But as we get into Thursday, new trough comes in. We have a surface cyclone, a surface low-pressure system starting to develop on the lee side of the Rockies. Warm, moist advection from the Gulf of Mexico starting to lift up across the plains, and this could increase our shower and storm chances both Thursday and into Friday. And look at that low, folks, 995 millibars across Kansas there, bringing that warm front further north into the Midwest here, the cold front and dry line trailing it across the plains. Watching out for severe weather, because look at the dew points, folks. The middle of next week, this is around Wednesday, April 23rd or so, you can see that we have the potential for the dew points to move into the 60s there into Texas, southern Oklahoma, and the lower Mississippi Valley region. But by later next week, say that 25th, 26th time frame, Thursday into Friday, there's the dry line here. Very dry air, dry dew points behind that into Colorado, New Mexico, and West Texas. This does include the Texas Panhandle. But look at the dew points streaming all the way up into Missouri and Kansas, even Nebraska, Iowa, northern Illinois. Dew points will be into the 50s and 60s later next week along and south of that surface warm front, and that will yield at least some moderate instability and buoyancy for thunderstorms to develop, and some of which could be severe in this environment near the warm front up here from northern Illinois back through Iowa and eastern Nebraska, but also along the dry line as well across Kansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. We'll need to watch for severe weather. And that's why the Storm Prediction Center, yes, folks, 7 days out, is already confident in severe weather. They have a level 2 out of 5, a slight risk of severe weather for next Thursday, April the 25th, from west central Kansas into the Dodge City region, all the way down into western Oklahoma, including Elk City, Woodward, down there toward Lawton and Fort Sill, and then into northwest Texas, into the Vernon, Texas region, and Wichita Falls so far as we go into next Thursday. I do expect Thursday to expand in coverage with severe weather, this risk to expand as we get closer and be upgraded. Also Friday to be added into the severe weather as we do get closer as well, because look at climatology for late April, central and southern plains. This is ground zero for severe weather, and definitely seeing that as we go into later next week. We will definitely keep an eye on the skies. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your Friday. Remember to subscribe to the channel down below if you are not a subscriber here to Weather on the Go. We'll keep you covered with the weather forecast throughout the year. Also, be sure to press the like button down below. Follow me on Twitter or X at HWeather420 for additional weather information. The link for that is down below the description here in the video. I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Have a great rest of your Friday out there.